Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope everyone is safe and healthy and sane in this difficult time. I wanted particularly to rush out this power coaching session. The reason for that was that I was contacted yesterday by a woman who gave me permission to share her story. I'm not going to name names, but she was let go by email. And she was put in an immediate difficult position. And there were certain things that she could have done to create a career safety net for herself. And so she has allowed me to share her story in the hope that it can protect other people. So my name is Dorothy Dalton, and I'm the CEO of 3 Plus International. And I'm an international talent management strategist, and I've been at this a long time. So I think this is maybe my third recession or downturn or crisis. But honestly, I don't think anybody has ever experienced anything like this. So I think I want to strike a balance between being positive and staying optimistic, but being realistic. And I don't know if there is such a thing as managed realism, but that's what I want to be. And if not, I just created and invented a word and a concept. So this is what I'm aiming to do, is to try and give you control of the things in your life that you can in a world that seems very much out of control. So, and I know it's hard, particularly if you homeschooling kids, you're working on the other side of the kitchen table to your partner, you may not have outside space, and I know that it's crazy making. But what I want you to do is at least think about these things so that you are not in the same position as this woman. So one of the things that you have to do is to stay up to date. And this means making sure that you check the news or social media for listings or announcements from your head office, regional office, and also on social media. You can set up Google Alerts. Okay, so you just put the name of your company and you put a hashtag for maybe COVID-19 or global pandemic, doesn't matter, to see what is coming out. Because very often there's stuff in things that we don't think about reading, like the business news or financial updates or other things that we may not have seen. Now, at the same time that you've got to find a balance with all the crazy white noise that you see on other elements of social media. As you know, I'm a Twitter addict, but even I've reduced my access to the platform, because otherwise you could go mad with all the different opinions and viewpoints coming over. So just stay in your own lane, check out the things that apply to you and your own sector. Second is to do informal check-ins with your colleagues. And once again, it's difficult to find a balance between causing a panic, but just finding what their take is and if they have any insights. Maybe your boss might share something with you, but just have an idea of what's going on. This lady had no idea at all. She probably had a little bit of an ostrich attitude, but it absolutely blindsided her. The other thing that she hadn't done was back up her personal information on her business laptop. You need to pull out all your performance evaluations. You need to have documents of recognition, so emails from colleagues or other parts of the company telling how great you are. And you need to remove all your personal files, okay? So she was just cut off from the server. And she did get in contact with her boss and ask for some leeway to do that, and it took some time. So not everybody will do that for you. So make sure that you have backed up all your personal information, whether it's on a cloud file or it's on a stick. But make sure that all your personal data is yours and it's on your person or in your cloud. The other thing you can do is for LinkedIn recommendations. And I know that it's hard when you're under a lot of pressure to think ahead, but if you have time, maybe check in with a boss or some colleagues or people you've worked on projects, people in a different part of this of your organization who can write really super things about you. And 3Plus just published a post on our e-gazine. Here's the link. Check it out. Quick hacks to stay in touch on LinkedIn. And there you will find a way to ask for a recommendation. Now, the other thing that you can do is give a recommendation, and this also means that your recommendation will appear on their job profile or LinkedIn profile and your LinkedIn profile. So it's a way of staying in touch, but it's also a way of protecting yourself for future opportunities. And now all research says that hiring managers and recruiters look on LinkedIn before they look at your CV. Now, I'm always bashing on about this. It doesn't matter whether it's a crisis or whether or not it's under normal circumstances. Network, network, network. Your network is your net worth. So make sure that you are in touch with as many people as you possibly can. Okay? There is nothing more annoying than somebody who pitches up and asks for a favor and they haven't clapped eyes on you in living memory. So please routinely stay in touch. This should be part of your quarantine or confinement strategy, whatever you do. But if you get a notice that, or you have a feeling that your job or your organization is vulnerable, start doing it now. This particular woman only had, and once again, only had 100 and something connections on LinkedIn. She wasn't really a fan of social media. So if you find yourself in that zone, you probably won't be listening to this podcast actually, but share it with someone who might. You've really got to start doing that. Look for a mentor or a sponsor. So a mentor is somebody who shares their experience with you, okay, and is a guide. And a sponsor is a door opener. And you are probably going to need both, particularly if you're feeling vulnerable. So who can help you going forward? Now, we have a free resource in the Career Shop. It's called Mentoring the Ultimate Guide. So please download it and find out what you can do. The mentor doesn't have to be in your current organization. It can be outside. It may be that everybody is busy at the moment, but even if you set up an informal peer mentoring group, just try and do that so you get some support. Number 7, update your contact list. This particular woman had pretty much her whole professional address book on her work laptop, and she hadn't backed any of it up. Okay, so it's really important that if they're vendors, if they're anyone you have had a relationship with, your colleagues, your company organization, anybody, you should make sure that you have all of those contact details, whether or not it's their phone numbers or their email addresses, preferably a private email address if you can, and make sure that you now have it either on your cloud or in your address book. Your contact list is super important. The 8th point is to update your LinkedIn profile and CV. If you don't want your boss to know you're doing this, or anyone or any of your colleagues, you can adjust your settings. We have lots of resources on this on our career site, so it might also mean that you might need some individual help, but please make sure that you are ready for emergency landing, okay? And part of this is having a ready-to-go updated LinkedIn profile and CV. The other thing is you should look at your budget and plan ahead. Now, I've said this on other podcasts. I've said it on the podcast with Suzanne Lucas and Annabelle Kay last week. Look at your budget. I mean, if you're anything like me, you're not spending any money at the moment except on food. Make sure that you can economize where you can. Check out your standing orders. I had a gym membership, which I'm clearly not using. There are other things that you can look at. What came out of the Annabelle Kay podcast was check if you ask for deferral of any standing orders such as mortgage or rent or any of these things, that it's not going to impact your credit rating, because some of the banks are not respecting those government wishes. One of the things you might want to think about is, okay, what do I need in terms, if the worst happens, what do I need in terms of a severance package? Can I get one? Okay, and you might want to think about notice period. You might want to think about getting a good reference. You might want to think about outplacement coaching, any of these things. There are lots of ways where you can try and maximize a pretty bad situation. And the other thing, if you feel nervous about this, enhance your negotiation skills. We have lots of stuff on our website for around negotiation. We have individual services where we can offer coaching if you need it, but there is a lot of free stuff in posts and in podcasts, so please make sure that you take a look at it. And the final thing, and this is what happened to this particular woman, okay, she didn't have her own laptop, okay, even her phone was her company phone. So one of the things you might want to think about is getting your own device. So particularly in a lockdown, she told me that she can't get a new device until I think she said 4 or 6 weeks. I mean, something really long. End of April, certainly. And the other thing is that you want to clean up your own device. So take off, and we talked about personal information, but you know, if you're using your company device for personal use, make sure you get all your personal information off it, your apps, your career, you know, the browsing history, everything. Make sure that is all scrubbed up. So this might seem maybe a little bit drastic, but what I don't want to happen is for other people to be caught out under these circumstances. So they're just something that you can think about, maybe take some and not all of the steps, but I just want you to be prepared for something that might happen. So please, if we're not already connected, you can reach out to me and check out my website, dorothydalton.com, 3plusinternational.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and obviously you can follow me on Twitter, but only twice a day now because I'm trying to be disciplined. So I want to thank you so much for spending time with me, and please stay healthy, stay home, and be safe, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.